Yoaan, thank you, mate, for jumping on.
Nice being here, James. First time on your podcast, Unleash podcast. Sounds great. So tell me a bit
Yeah,
about.
no, it's an honor to have you on board, man. I had the privilege of interviewing Jay, your business mentor, and what does success mean to you?
Success. So I would say for me it was always about freedom. Okay, so it just when you can't find your place in society, when you have to find a job and you have to basically fit. People want to put a tag on yourself, and for you it just doesn't work. Um, it's kind of funny because so I always wanted to be free, but at the same time I did like military, which sounds like completely counterintuitive. When you think about like being free and being in the military, it's like literally the opposite. But I thought I would be free by being in the military because I would be able to travel the world, like to do go on adventures and everything. And so right now, after a few years of like doing quite a lot of business now, I guess it's all about like designing your life the way you want it to be.
Did you study business or marketing? So you said you were in the military. So when you got out of the military, did you go to university or?
Yeah, so basically my plan was to become a fighter pilot, and so it didn't work out as I wanted to. And so basically after I had an opportunity to do like a test to get in like business schools. I didn't want to get in business school. My idea was just like to get to the level of study where I could go back in military as an officer.
Yeah.
But I was like, basically, my mom told me like, oh, there's something going on like in a week. If you want to, like, you can have this test and try to see if you can get in a business school. And so I remember telling her like, I couldn't care less about business school because I know like business school is not made to create like businessmen. Business schools are
Yeah.
made to create like good employees who would work like in a corporate job and shit like this. And I was never interested in it. But that, like you know what, like it cost me nothing. Literally, it was 70 euros something like this to do it. So I was like, I'm going like unprepared and just like this, like with the flow. And so when I did the test, everyone was stressed because everyone was like playing with their future. But for me, it was like I couldn't care less. And so because I was in this state of pure relaxation, I had like insanely great results. And I was like in top top of the guys like for the results. And so I had like the possibility to get like basically any business school within the range of like this test. Because after you had like an oral test, you had to go to like the university and to do oral like face-to-face test. But the thing is, at that time, my only purpose was to be able to remain and to be a lifeguard because I was already a lifeguard. So in my mind, when you look at like the map of France, it's like in my mind I was like it needs to be on the coast was our waves. That was my solely purpose. Okay, and so because of that, like for people, I look like the crazy type because I was like. Uh, I had the opportunity to go to the fifth best business school in France, which is pretty good. And
Wow.
it's in Grenoble, and Grenoble is like in the mountains, basically. So it's far from the sea. So I said, like, fuck that. I just want to be a lifeguard and to stay as a lifeguard. And so I went to Rennes, which is like closest to the sea. And so, yeah, basically after when I was in school, I studied like a bunch of things, and I would say marketing was one of the worst course
Yeah.
because they didn't know anything about like real marketing because they were always like teaching you the four P's of product, price, positioning, and maybe promotion. I don't even remember. And so the thing is, they were always teach you like all concepts. And the issue with like business school is like it's almost never a guy who made a business, a successful business, or at least tried to do business, who's gonna teach you business. It's always someone who is book smart about business and marketing, so you couldn't care less.
Yeah.
And the only time, one time in my last year, I had a teacher, and this guy was like a multimillionaire. He was from the US, and he was actually in the staff of Donald Trump. Okay, so he was working with him and for his branding in France. Okay, so he was like American, but he was the guy that you would invite to talk about Trump on French television. So the thing is, because like weirdly enough in business schools, it's always like full of leftists and people that are like socially awakened or whatever. Like because of this, like everyone hated him. All the teachers hated him because one, he was successful. Two, he was inviting them in his like penthouse in Paris. And three, because he was like supporting Donald Trump. And back in the days, when supporting Trump was like, it was like being Hitler. Like for them, it was like the worst thing on earth. And so the only guy who was actually successful in business and who was teaching us like business was a guy that everyone hated because he was genuine and actually interesting. So that was the only guy I really respected during my entire business school. And I was like, yeah, I was actually, I remember like, so first I was always at the back of the classroom. And as soon as he started, like, we had like 4 hours with him and we had a break, like 2 hours break, 2 hours again. And when he started telling about the fact that he had businesses and he was doing this and he was doing business with Total and like big companies like this, we had the break. During the break, everyone was spitting on him, like saying, "Oh, who is this douchebag?" Whatever. I was like, "This guy is amazing," and so I moved from like the bottom, like the end of the class, to like being right in front of him. And so it was like, "Oh, someone understood that someone wants to make money." I was like, "Yes, I want to," and I was like, because he was saying like all the teachers didn't want to answer to his invitation in his penthouse in Paris. I said, I would go. I was like, if you want someone like to be with you for a weekend, I would go, because I was like, it's all so dumb. You know, there's one person who is a multi-millionaire and you're not gonna fucking spend time with him and ask him questions. How dumb are you? And but that was the entire thing about like business schools.
Yeah, success breeds clues. Hey,
Crazy.
do you? Yeah, did when you initially went into marketing and business school, was the idea of creating an online business ever in your, you know, did that ever occur to you that you wanted to start making money online?
Yeah, so basically, funnily enough, it's so just before I joined the business school, I remember I was already like looking for solutions on the internet, and I found a course. So it's crazy, like you will see, if you believe in synchronicities, if you believe in like all the things with universe, like it blew my mind like years after. So I joined in 2017, I think, like the business school, yeah, something like this, 2017. And so just before, during the summer, there was a massive launch on the French market, which was about how to do like video sales later by like the three top guys in like marketing, Facebook ads, and like mindset. And so they did like the Avengers of marketing and business online, and they did a massive like launch, which was a big thing, like back in like 2015, 16, 17, like a lot of like creators, influencers, and marketers, they would do a launch for like an entire week, and they would do like launch of like 6-figure launches. And so basically I was following this launch, and at the end of it, like during 2 days, you can buy the product. And the product was 2K. And I didn't have 2K. So, but I was like, I really want to do this, because I was like, it's all about marketing. It's all about like knowing how to sell. It's about having something that can like make money while sleeping, which was always the thing I wanted to do. And so I was like, you know what? Like my business school was like 12K per year. And I was like, I would rather just drop the business school idea and not pay, and just like ask my parents to pay 1/6 of the price to give me money to do this course online. And so of course the reaction was, fuck you, you're going to business school. What type of like scam you want to do online? And so I was like, it's actually what, like years later, in like 2020, 2021 and stuff like this, I started making money by doing video sales later. Exactly the thing I wanted to do, you know? So it's crazy. But it was like, I couldn't ask my parents to understand me, because I was like, you know, it's intuition. So you see something, you're like, oh, I feel that's my thing. That's my 100%. And so the thing I couldn't explain this, it's hard like to convince someone, especially when you're in a situation where like your life is definitely not in order. Basically, it's how like later on I went back into like deeply into marketing, and I started doing videos as later. This is how I made a lot of money. And the funny thing is, while I was doing this, I was looking for mentors to scale my business. So I was doing around like 30K per month with this, and I wanted to hit like the 100K per month level. And at that time, so I had my own funnels. So for the guys that don't know about funnels, I guess like with Russell Brunson, a lot of people know now. Basically having like
sales funnels,
like just having a funnel, just having like a page.
Yeah.
You're gonna sell some things, and you're gonna have an order form. Then you might have like upsells. Okay, upsells, which is basically when you offer like an extra service, an extra product, to be able to increase the average order value of the person who is buying from you. Okay, and this is a game changer because I don't know if you've like we've all experienced this when you are in the mood, in the mindset of buying. Let's say you go like to buy some clothes, and you find like one piece that you like, and after like the salesman who's here is going to say, oh, like actually with like this jacket, like this shirt would go perfectly with it. You try it, it goes perfectly with it. You're like, oh, fuck me. So this guy just upsell me, okay? And then after, like, what about these shoes and this and that? And so just like at first you were going to be like a client for like 40 euros, 50 euros, and you exit the store after spend like 300 euros. Okay, what happened? You got upsell. And so that's the entire purpose of like a funnel, is to be able to upsell people by helping them more, and because emotionally they're involved, and like you have like a dopamine hit every time you buy. Okay, and so what was funny when I was looking at my mentors, I was helping a girl in influencer kind of in the spiritual niche to make money with a funnel. And so this girl, she was like super deep in spirituality. She was like talking to angels and shit like this. And one day, she told me like, so Yoaan, I had like I'm in a Facebook group, and there are guys who are looking for mentee to teach them how to scale their business. And so she told me this. I was never on Facebook except for doing Facebook ads, but like, I was never like already like in 2021. It was no longer a thing for like guys under like fucking 40 years old to be on Facebook. Like everyone was already on Instagram. And so I was never going on Facebook. And so what happened is, she told me this, I went on this page, I asked to be added to this page, I got added, and then I watched a video, and the video was this guy that back in 2017 was one of the three guys who was selling his course about videos as letter. He was one of the two mentors, was offering his mentorship. So I was like, oh, how crazy is that? And so basically I sent him a message, I said, I want to learn more about it, so we had a call. And so during the call, he was with his mentor since like 2010, and knew this guy like made like millions with video sales later on the French market in the health niche. So I was like, this is perfect. And so basically what happened is, they told me, okay, it's 21,000 euros. And I was like, okay, I have like 8,000 euros on my bank account. And so what happened is, I said, you know what, I'm just gonna take a leap of faith. So I said, okay, let's do it. Can I do a split payment? So 777. And so I gave €7,000 to start after I had only 1,000 euros left, and I needed like some money to do advertisement. So I was like, it's either it's working or I'm done, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
And so basically what happened is, at the beginning of it, I got like my Facebook ads account got blocked. And so basically my business went from like 30K to zero, like in a day. And so I was like, oh my God, so it's terrible, it's like, so I'm already in debt because I still have to pay these guys like 14K, and I cannot do advertisements, so I don't have traffic, so I cannot make money. And so I remember like I had to explain this to my mentors, and they told me, oh, we might cancel the mentorship. We might like, it might not work. It's like, we signed for helping you to go from 30 to 100 because we knew you had like a 30K per month business, But now you have a 0K per month business, and bringing to 0 to 100 is completely a different ball game. So I was like, oh my God. So as you can imagine, I was a bit stressed. It was just after I moved to Montenegro. So I was in a new country, I knew nothing, didn't speak the language, whatever. I had to pay the rent, I had to pay for food, and I was in debt and everything. So I was like, I had a bit of pressure. And basically, I unlocked my Facebook ads accounts, YouTube ads account. And so I asked, okay, what's the first move? And so my mentor told me, he said, so you're going to put 700 or something like this, like 700 or 800 euros per day of ad spend. I was like, holy fuck, bro. I have like 1,000.
Shit.
So I acted as if it was all right. I said, okay, let's do this. I'm going to do this. And the thing is, when you do ads, it's like you have a delay between when you spend the money and when you have to pay back Facebook or YouTube. And especially on like YouTube ads, you have more time. You could have sometimes a month, something like this, depending on how, like, say, they trust you, whatever. If you spend before, they're gonna trust you to extend like this timeline. And so basically, I've put this budget, went to sleep, and next morning I opened my laptop. I was like, oh, please. I was like, if it doesn't work, I'm fucked. And so I did like $3,000 in the night, euros in the night.
Wow.
So, hallelujah. So I was saved. And so after like in 18 days, I did like 100K. And
100K in 18 days. That's incredible.
It was insane. And so basically, that's the thing is, when you have like a business, a funnel, that you can make money without having to put your own time. That's why, like, for instance, like you doing like some classes and stuff like this. And the issue with this is, as soon as you have like classes, it's like you have to invest your own time doing it. And so at some point, I know a lot of guys. So I live in Marbella, and this is a gym, and I speak with like quite a few guys there. And a guy is doing like jiu-jitsu classes, and he's making between 8 to 10K per month, because he's doing like a lot of classes. He's consistently like doing like 6-7 hours per day of classes. But the thing is, at some point he got exhausted because, well, like, fuck me. It's like, I need to work 10 hours per day now if I want to do like 15K. And so that's the thing is, like, when you have something on funnel working, like, you can just go from doing like 0 to 10K to 30K to 100K to, I know guys who are doing like 300, 500, a million without putting more time. Okay, you just increase the traffic, and as long as like your systems are working, like the back end, you can keep going like this. And that's insane. So it's like nothing has been like this on fucking Earth. And so that's the thing. When I've realized this, I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. So that was really like, I was already interested in marketing, but when I figured this out, I was like, this is insane. And so since then I've been quite deep in marketing. I had a lot of failures too. It's like, of course, like, I'm giving you a huge journey, but after I had like massive failures, then wins again, and failures again. It's like, it's not. It depends on like your risk aversion. Recently, I watched a podcast of Tai Lopez. You know Tai Lopez?
Yeah, Tai Lopez. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's famous, right? And so Tai Lopez, he created like a website called 12types.com, and it's made in order that you answer a few questions, and it's gonna give you hormonal. Like, basically, it's gonna give you, like, depending on your answers, you have a hormonal type, and you have like things that you are more into. So, for instance, if you have like more dopamine, more serotonin, more oxytocin. So, depending on if you are like oxytocin focused, it means you are you're not the type of person who is taking risk. You're the type of person who's gonna be more like cautious about taking a decision, trusting someone, and stuff like this. If you're like a psycho like me, a dopamine focus, and it was dopamine and testosterone focus. That's my two. When you're high on these ones, it means like you love novelty and you're a big risk taker. Yeah. That's funny because when I discovered this, it was only a month ago. I was like, it makes so much sense compared to like the decisions I've taken in business in my life. Always like putting all in. It's because I'm oriented like this. It's not, I haven't chosen this. So it's just like this. I'm just like this. So, but it's good to know how you are wired to better understand like why you are taking this type of decision when other people will never take this type of decisions. So it helps to understand better people. So I encourage you, like you or even like the guys that will be listening to the podcast, to go to 12types.com. It's completely free, and it takes you like 5 minutes. And I've done it for my parents. I've done it for my sisters. And I'm encouraging everyone to do it because it's funny how accurate this is. Okay, like it definitely matches like the behavior of my sister, my parents, or whatever. I was like so accurate. It just shows that depending on your hormonal levels and how you behave, it's basically like dictated by like how you're wired. So it's a bit like if you believe in free will, it's like you have free will, but you are kind of like guided and forced to do things even when you don't want to. It's like your fucking body is made like this. You can't do anything about it.
So you are one of those individuals that are more dopamine driven. Is it a test that you can only do once, or can you do it a couple of times?
So I think you can do it as many times as you want. It's supposed to be some things that you don't change that much. It's like the questions are gonna be they're gonna be about like your way of behaving. And so, for instance, if you are an introvert or extrovert, it's like you're not gonna change this. You can learn how to be more social and more socially aware and talk with people and not being weird. Okay, but if you're weird in the first place, it means probably like you don't basically get extra energy by being surrounded by people, which means like you rather like when you want to recharge, if you need to be alone, it means you are introvert. I'm an introvert. When I'm tired, I need to be alone. When some other people, I don't know, what are you? Are you an introvert or extrovert?
Me? I'm a little bit of both. I'm extroverted, but I do like my own time. I love that downtime. So I can understand where you're coming from.
I think a lot of people, they get confused between being introverted and shy. It's completely different. And extroverted and outgoing. It's completely different. It's like you can be. I love to have like parties to talk with a lot of people, but like the real criteria to know if you're introvert or extrovert is to know when you're tired. Okay, like for instance, like one of the best example is if you go to a seminar, okay, like so something like a 1 to 3 day seminar. I need to go back to my fucking bedroom and stay alone.
To get back to so much information.
It's too much. Okay, so for me it's too much, and so at some point I need to be alone. So it's because I'm an introvert. It doesn't mean I don't enjoy myself. It doesn't mean like I don't talk to people. I have a great time every time. It's just like I need this. And when you are like an extrovert, like you can see these people who are never tired. And after the seminars, it's like, okay, let's go to the restaurant. Let's do a party. You're like, bro, leave me alone. I just need to fucking rest now. But it's because okay. So but I love this. It's super interesting.
Yeah, you and your business partner Jay, both are highly industrious and hardworking, and your online program, the Fast Lane Accelerator, is making people more perspicacious of the idea you can make money online, and some of your students are making 20, 30, 40, 50K. How did that eventuate? How did you start a business with Jay in what you're teaching and what you're preaching?
So basically, how we've met is the first thing is, so basically we are part of like the same network, and so I was already living in Marbella, and what happened is, I don't know, maybe we started chatting on like Instagram. I love to say to Jace that he was sliding in my DMs. And so after Jay was sliding in my DMs, basically what happened is, so a few guys were having like like at night we are having a drink on like a rooftop, something like this, and yeah, we connected. And so basically at that time, so I was already in my marketing stuff alone and things like this. And so basically he was already like selling a course to help guys on Instagram like to make money. And when he showed me like his process of like selling, how he was selling, he was making already good money. And I was like, oh, like there is more potential to it. And so because we are getting like really along, we are getting along really well. It's like we started chatting about this. I started like telling him how to optimize a bit like his business and stuff like that. And just after a few months, we decided like, okay, let's work together on this. So this is how like we got like a new version of it, and yeah. So for me, it's interesting because I like the idea of like directly helping people and to see like people changing their behavior and what happens and how to make money. And I think like one of the best like advice I can give to anyone who is into like the coaching industry is most of the time to pick your client better, which is to increase your price.
Yeah.
It sounds counterintuitive, but I've been selling and I'm still selling like low ticket things. The thing with low ticket thing, which is great, is it's automatic. So automatic is great, but the thing is most of my clients, I don't want to have, for instance, like to have a dinner with them, okay? Compared to someone who I'm sharing time with them, like this, like having a conversation, like doing a coaching call or whatever. It's like the type of person that I can spend time with them. Okay, so it's completely different. So it's more about what do you really want to do in terms of business. But if you want to go in like the coaching, the more you will increase your price, the more you will have like better quality type of people. And the more they will actually apply your things, because a big problem when you are like selling courses, selling knowledge, selling coaching, is like a lot of people they're just not gonna do the work, and so it can be extremely frustrating. But at least when you charge higher prices and you have like more like a one-on-one personal connection with the person, you just increase the chances that they're gonna do exactly what you say. And as soon as you do exactly what you say, you increase like their results, and so it's like a positive loop.
Yeah.
And you just feel better, you know. It's like because at the end of the day, like before I've met you, I was already making money. So it's like yes, it's making some money on top of that, but it was more about like the fulfilling part of I'm directly helping people, and I can see like them changing, and it's good for like, it makes you feel good. It's like that simple.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the part that was interesting about this.
Yeah, it's an amazing online platform, and what you and Jay and Adam have done, it's amazing. And I was talking to Jay about this, and it's a brotherhood. It's a place where people come together and learn, but also, help each other. And yeah, what you have created it's amazing. You're good friends with Luke Barnett, and you were able to connect with Andrew Tate. How did that eventuate? How did you get to go with that?
Yeah, so it was basically like networking events, and this is how I got involved in this, like especially in end 2021, 2022. I was like super involved in like network. Basically, I had made a bunch of money. I was like, now I need to travel the world. Now I want to discover like new things, new people, everything. Because back in the days, I was in Montenegro. In Montenegro, I was quite. I was living with a guy, and we are still like good friends. But it was a bit too quiet for me, and I wanted like some adventures. I was always about like having some adventures. And so I've met like different type of networks, and I was going to these events, and yeah, when I discovered back in the days, like Tate was not famous as he became after. Now, like he became a superstar at some point, but he was just like a guy on the internet, and I was like, he's cool, he's doing cool shit. I want to be part of this, so I started doing events like that, and yeah, so basically after I just went to the events when back in the days he was because he was not like super famous. I was able to go to the events where we were like small group of people, and you could actually exchange with him and exchange with Tristan too. And so compared to like now, someone who would want like to get in touch with him, it's impossible. Like you need either like to have, if you want to like, I don't know, a big podcast, to be able like to offer him to have a podcast, but like either way, like you don't really have ways to get in touch with him because he's too busy and too many people wants to be in touch with him. And so after, like the other thing was how I've met like Luke. It was actually funny. It was so I had an event in Dubai early 2022, and so Luke was not at the event, but he was commentating on like a MMA show, not in Dubai, but the city next to it. And so basically, with some friends, we went to a club, and someone already knew Luke, and he was like, "Oh, like Luke is coming. Let's wait for him, whatever." And so basically, what happened is like Luke showed up. And so we were in the club, already a bit drunk. And so at that time, I already decided I wanted to do a fight. Like for years, I was like a bit training on and off with COVID, whatever. And so I was like, it was just mostly a challenge because I like Muay Thai, I like kickboxing, all these things, but not like thunder off. You know, so it's not as if I was like if it was my purpose. It's not my purpose at all. You know, it's like I would rather do calisthenic, for instance.
Did you have a martial arts background?
Yeah, I had done like some Muay Thai before, yeah. And I wanted, my first plan was to go in Thailand to do a fight in Thailand. And because when I wanted to do one in Montenegro in the Balkans, the problem in the Balkans is that like the organizations is way too shady. They're gonna put you against a guy just to get like an extra point on his card, and you're gonna get destroyed by a pro, like something like this. So it was a bit dangerous. So back to the club, and so in the club, I see this guy, and so he has like, you know, the curly flowers. So I didn't know his background about UFC, whatever. He was just a guy. So I was like, okay, bro, like you look like you know how to fight. And so he told me, yeah, I know. I was like, okay, I want to do a fight. He was like, what do you mean? I said, I need to do a fight, so I guess you can teach me how to fight if you're a fighter or something like this. And so I was completely like, so like relaxed. It's my style, basically. I don't take things like too seriously. And so we were like, yeah, whatever, stuff like this. Because as he told me after, like he had like maybe 1,000 times like guys in the club who would ask him like, bro, I want to do a fight, I'm ready to train, like whatever. But it's when they're drunk. But after they never do the work and they never like follow up with the things to do, you know, they never do the training and they never do a fight. And so basically like what happened is like a week after I was in Kiev in Ukraine and was like, okay, so I need to start training. I need to do my fight. And so I called Luke. So he answered and I was like, okay, bro, so I need to fight. How do we start? And I could hear by his voice that he was shocked. He was like, how? What? So you were serious? You know, it's like, it was like, so you were serious? I was, of course I was serious. And I was like, I'm still in Kiev right now, so it was just before the war. I say like, okay, can you give me like some type of program, like to start training on my own in Kiev, and then I will meet you in Marbella, okay, to start training with you and to do a fight camp. And so it's like, okay, so I paid him, he sent me this, and then after there was a war, so I had to leave early and to go to Marbella, and I did the fight camp. And then after I had a fight in Canfrom, which was in Wales, in UK. And basically we became friends because like, he was like, you're one of the only guys that ever like said something like this, did everything without complaining, and then fight, I won, which was a bonus. And after he was just like, in his mind, he was like, okay, so when Yoaan is saying something, it actually happens, you know? So it like creates some type of like self-prophecy thing, but it's hard to have a reputation like this, bro, because now I need to be extremely careful with what I say. When I say something, I better be able to back up my words. But basically, yeah, and so because after like Luke is literally one of the best friends of Tate. It's like Luke is getting invited in like Romania, stuff like this. And basically, lately we had like the birthday of Luke, so we went to Romania with him. We had restaurants, we had an entire thing. I got destroyed by Tate, especially because I haven't been training like box for like a year or something like this. So he fucking destroyed me because we had to do like 36 rounds of sparring.
You actually went to his place, didn't you? And you were sparring with him, weren't you?
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
like it's like the experience. I did sparring with him before, but the thing is, this time we were only like 4, and out of the 4, like there was Luke, no 5. We were 5, counting myself, and there was like Luke and Tate. It's like one is ex-UFC, the other one is like 6 shape and was 4 times like
Kickboxing world champion.
World champ. It's like I don't know why people like some people I see in the internet or I get DMs. Bro, like does Tate know how to fight? I'm like, bro, he don't want to be punched by him. And he was like, the thing is he's adapting his level to me. You know, it's like even if it was extremely painful for me, he could have killed me. It's just a weird sensation. Okay, when you have another man that can literally kill you, it humbles you, but like a big time. Because we had like these 6 rounds, and like I remember like I gasped after like 3-4 rounds because I was no longer doing any cardio, any boxing, whatever. And I remember like Luke was telling me, "Oh, now you're entering like deep water." And I remember like your mind wants to just like evaporates and flee. You know, you want to just to not be here. And at some point like there was a switch, I remember. So I was after like, I don't know, like 10, 12 sparring. And I was not complaining, but I was like dying. Okay, like, you know, when you start like spitting on the floor, you're carrying yourself, because what we were doing for the guys listening is like we are doing shark tanks. And so shark tanks is when like you're doing a sparring, and then every time, so it's 3 minutes sparring, you have one minute.
Fresh comes in.
And then after you have a fresh guy coming, and so we are doing this for every single one of us. So it means like you have like 4 sparrings in a row, but like one with Tate, one with Luke, and one with one friend and one with another friend. So after 4 sparrings, you were dying. You know, it's like super hard. And the thing is, at one point, I remember like, so I was literally dying. And so Tate told me like, nobody cares that you're suffering, hide it. And so it's weird. Like it's like I can tell you at the moment I felt like that's harsh. You know, when you're really like suffering, but at the same time it was kind of like a call of he's right. You know, it's like he's fucking. Nobody's gonna save me. We had started for like something like 15 minutes, and I knew it would be like fucking 3 hours 30, something like this, and I couldn't escape it because of. It's like your fucking honor that's on the line. So like you were here and you decided to come here, now you have to deal with it. And so I was like, okay. And at that moment, it's as if something like changed and shifted in my mind. I was like, now it's it can last as long as it needs to be. And I was ready. You know, I was like, in my mind, I was like, I'm gonna die. If I die, fuck it. But I'm not gonna give up. And so I had like you know, this second breath when you are like, you have a rush of energy coming again. And I started asking him like, okay, how can I improve? He said, hit me more, do this, do that. And so I started like getting by my technique, because it sounds as if I had lost like all my technical background about the like boxing, because I was gasping. And so I started having like a better like positioning of my legs, like getting closer to him. So there's a videos that went a bit like viral because his daughter is shouting daddy, stuff like this. But basically I'm in front of him. I try to be as close as him as possible, because he cannot have like space to punch me. Okay, so when you have less space, it's gonna be less harder on you, it's gonna be less painful. And so it's like little things, but I started adapting this. And at the end of like the sparring session, I was dead, of course, but at least I improved during the sparring session. It's all about like showing that you're not gonna give up and you're actually gonna do your best, even if you cannot beat them. Okay, like there's no fucking way you cannot beat them. And after there was another guy that came to Niger or something like this, who has been like doing boxing with Tate since the Storm Gym, and he has sick shape, and so I was like, fuck me. So it's crazy, but at least after it's like after any like good training session, like you feel like, okay, I've done it, it's good. And at night after we did like a poker night, which was fun. But you had to deserve.
Was that at his house?
It was no. This time it was cool. It was in Romania. There was like a restaurant, and it's a French restaurant actually. And so a French restaurant, and you go through the restaurant, you cross the restaurant, and then you go like next to the kitchen. Then you have like a staircase. You go upstairs, and there's like a secret room. And there was like, it's like in a fucking Godfather movie, and there was a table, and we were like 10 or 12 of us, and we were playing poker, like smoking cigars and cigarettes and having drinks, and there was food on the table next to us. There's the video of this, like for guys I want to check out.
Yeah.
It's like or shit like this, but it was really fun. But you had to deserve it. That's the thing. Like I could have not like played poker if I had given up. You know, it's like. You cannot be at the table without having to go through like something hard. Yeah, so that was my latest experience of this. Did I enjoy like getting beat up? No. Did I learn something? Yes.
Yeah.
I encourage someone to do a bit of martial arts to feel like a bit to gain a bit of like strength and confidence, and yes, I think that's super important. Maybe like you're doing a lot of like jiu-jitsu too. I think jiu-jitsu can help a lot of people without getting hit too. I don't believe really like you're gonna avoid injuries, like because in jiu-jitsu you can go like 100% of your strength while training compared to when you are doing boxing. You're not going like all out, you know, because it's too crazy. But in jiu-jitsu, because you're trying like to win over the other guy, you can use like your entire strength. So I'm not sure it's risk-free, but I think it's great like just to be more combative and to not easily in life. Yeah.
Yes. What was the experience like, the preparation for your MMA fight? And, you know, was there any sort of events that unfolded? Because I'm pretty sure that you got sick. You had a very bad illness leading up to the fight. Was that correct?
Yeah, so it was a kickboxing fight. And so basically what happened is, like Luke told me beforehand, he said, when you have like a tough fight camp, because the big thing about having a fight for me, it's not about having a fight, it's about doing the fight camp. Because having a fight, like if like this afternoon you tell me like, okay, you're going in a cage, you're gonna fight someone, and it's gonna last like between 6 and 9 minutes and stuff like this. It's gonna be hard, but I can do it. I'm gonna learn some stuff, but not that much. Where I really learned something, it was when I was doing the fight camps. It was like 10, 12 weeks, and the training was psycho. Okay, so it was like 12 trainings per week, and every single training was hard. And so Luke told me basically it's gonna shock your body, and so at some point you're gonna get ill. Okay, and on top of that, like a dummy, I was trying like the carnivore diet and like the raw diet. So instead of like having a proper diet and whatever, I was like, this was a moment at first when I was putting in a shaker like raw eggs and some liver and shit like.
You were going like Rocky style, Liver King.
Yeah. Worst idea. And so at one point I got sick. I remember I had to do my 5K run. It's like you have to do, like, it was one of my training, a 5K run as fast as possible. I was feeling sick, but I was like, I can't just dodge the bullet. So I went out and I started like running. After a kilometer, I started like puking all over the place. I was extremely like weak. And so I said to Luke told me, okay, it's normal. But then after, I still had to train. So he was like, I couldn't just like sleep most of the time and whatever. So I remember one time I was still a bit sick, and I had some hard time to recover my cardio. So that was a big thing. Yeah, I felt like I lost my entire cardio because of the sickness and the illness. And so I remember one time I was sparring once a week on Wednesdays, and I was doing my jump rope before and some warm up and stuff like this, and I was already like my head was spinning. I was really feeling, when you start sweating, you're white, you're really bad. And so, but the thing is, my mindset was just like, do whatever Luke tells you to do, because he knows better. He's been doing it like fucking dozens of times. And because I trusted him. Okay, so I was like, if he sees that I'm too sick, he's gonna tell me to stop. Okay. But it's better to go this way. If you really you need someone trustworthy, of course. But if you have someone that you can really like trust, it's better to go this way rather than just like giving up and saying, no, I'm too sick, whatever, because you're gonna just lose their support, because you're gonna be, okay, so he was talking a lot, but he's not doing shit. So this is what I've done. But like doing sparring when you're sick, it's terrible. And doing sprints when you're sick, it's terrible. But for some weird reason, so I had like a PT. So first thing, it's like it humbled me again. So my entire life, it's about like getting too confident and then getting humbled by something.
Humility. It's that yin and yang, isn't it? Yeah.
Because, you have a line, it's like humility. And I remember like before, when I was singing in the gym, people training with the PT, and sometimes they are going really slow and stuff like that. I was like, these guys, they just don't know how to train. That's embarrassing, whatever. And then I go to PT for my fight camp. Oh my God, it's like it was crazy. It was crazy. So it was the first training I had with T. He told me to go on the treadmill, and he said like, okay, so we're gonna warm up with sprints. So we were running for like 10 minutes. At first, normally nothing crazy. And then after he started putting like the maximum speed, so 20 kilometers on the thing, like a bit of inclination. So you're gonna do like 30 seconds in, 30 seconds out, 30 seconds in. And I was like, holy fuck. So we started doing this, but like for 10 minutes at 10 times. But after it, I was done, Like,
yeah. And meanwhile, you're sick.
Yeah. No, at that time I was not sick. It's after I got this thing to recover. He gave me the sprints again, but basically like just the idea of like doing this for a lot of people, it's an entire training. It's after he said, okay, so today we are training legs, and after we're doing like so many exercises, I was so tired, and so I was like, okay, so actually getting in PT is just helping you to go beyond your limits. So that's the entire point. And so to go back when I was sick, I remember going to the PT, to the gym, and because at that time I still had no cardio. I was still a bit sick, I had no cardio. So I was like, it's not gonna make me train sprints, we're gonna do something else. So I didn't put my running shoes because I didn't believe I would do fucking sprints. So I went there. So he said, okay mate, like, how are you? So I said, yeah, still looking for my cardio. He said, okay, get on the treadmill. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, get on the treadmill. I was like, oh, fuck me. So he said, okay, so today we're gonna open your lungs. I was like, what is that? And so basically, I did my worst sprint session ever. And so it was like, this time, instead of like doing 30 seconds in, 30 seconds out, during the 30 seconds out, I was doing push-ups, squats, jump squats, and pull-ups, and getting back on it. Oh my God. It's like, like sometimes you feel like you're gonna faint. Like I was super close. And so
that's
I was
insane.
like, he's a psycho. He's definitely a psycho. But the crazy thing happened, it was a day after this crazy training, I got back my cardio. I remember I had to do like my 5K again. I did my 5K and I did my best time. It's like, for some reason, it's as if I had like to, I don't recommend this technique because it's crazy, but it's as if I had like to go through like this limitation I had from the sickness to be able to, again, like have my cardio. So I got my cardio like this, like almost not instantly, but I got it back. And so, yeah. So fight camp, I would advise, like, if some guys are really want like to, I think especially when you're like young and stuff, like you want to test yourself, it's kind of doing like the test of like manlyhood. Are you a man? Do you become a man? Shit like this. Like it sounds dumb. Maybe it sounds a bit silly. I'm pretty sure for a lot of people,
Yeah.
but it's something I guess like especially in like our current society, it's important because you like for a lot of I had the military before, so I had tests before, I had done other things like difficult things before, but I think like in this society we don't have as many tests as we used to have, so because of this like you can easily get a bit soft if you
Yeah.
really want to have like some background and to test yourself and to see what you are worth. It's good to put yourself deliberately in situations that are hard. And then after you see what are your limits, how you can go beyond your limits, what that means to you. And I think you in martial arts, like you already know about all this stuff.
Have you seen the footage, Johan? I think this was a physical education class back in the '60s of the high school teenagers that were doing very vigorous exercise and incredibly fit. And it's quite interesting how times have changed. And I 100% agree with you that I think it's important for anybody to put themselves in what I call voluntary adversity. And in the face of adversity, whether it's a tough opponent or a, a difficult setback, how do you stay focused and motivated?
When I'm struggling,
Yeah, so in the face of adversity, so obviously your fight camp and your preparation, you were sick. There were numerous times you felt like you were going to black out. Um, how do you stay motivated and have that sense of resiliency to push through those mental blockages?
I think it's linked to my self-image. If that I think like people who would give up on things is because they have a poor self-image of themselves. And the thing is, their self-image would accept the fact that you give up, and that people see you as a loser, and that you see yourself as a loser. And that's something I don't know. Like since I was a kid, like for instance, I remember like playing volleyball in school, and I was like some of my mates they would say like I was not good. I was alright. I was not like crazy good. I was average. I was doing my best. And the thing is, it just had like some sense of adversity. And I was like, when we were playing like a match, I was here to win. And I remember going like being a psycho when one time like we played with my team and we lost and nobody cared. I was like, how could you not care? I was mad. I was not doing an act or whatever. I was mad. Like it ruined my day. The thing is, if you don't have anything like this, and if you, I think a lot of people now they put like no, they don't put any intent on whatever happens. It's like everything is, yeah, whatever. It's like for me, I put a lot of intent on things that I do, and it's important. You need to put some meaning on the things that you're doing. So because of this, like because I've been building myself like this, it's like I have a self-image of I never quit. I would never, like for instance in business, I had so many struggles. So many times I lost money. I felt like I would never recover from it. But it was like I never had the choice of I would just go back and have a job. It never crossed my mind because for me, getting a job is depression. Depression leads to dying. I'm just gonna die if I do this. I'm gonna be miserable. The thing is, like, it's all about how you see yourself. And so every time I'm in like a tough situation, for instance, because yeah, the thing is, when I was like doing this experiment with Tate and Luke and my other friends, it's like they were shit talking on me, So it's like it adds a layer of they're gonna say bullshit about you, especially because I was the only French there. So it's like, okay, so French people are surrendering and shit like this. It's like just pure ego. At that point, like you need to have an ego and to say fuck them. And so I remember at one point, like Luke was doing a joke that was not funny to me at all because it was directly aiming at me. I look at him and like in my mind, at that point, he was no longer my friend. I wanted to kill him. It's like you need to have this ego of like I'm not gonna accept this. Okay, and even if this guy is like way better than me, I would rather die. I don't want this. It's like you need to have like some dignity to never accept like shit like that. And the thing is, you need to do this with small things to build up, because you need to build faith in yourself. And the thing is, like, if every time it's like you tell yourself that you're gonna do something and you don't, every time it's as if you started building something like a tower, like the foundations, and you break them and you start over again. You break them and you start over again. It's like you cannot go anywhere in life if you keep doing this. You need to build up, build up, build up. And to do this means like you say something, you do it. It's not like your confidence level increases. And then you say something and you do it, it increases again. It stacks, okay? And because it stacks, this is how like you start having faith in yourself. And people around you start seeing you, when I told you like at the beginning of the podcast, when people start seeing you as a guy who says something and actually does it, now it's no longer just your self-belief, it's like how people view you, okay?
Yeah.
And because of like social pressure, peer pressure, and peer pressure can be extremely beneficial for yourself if you are surrounded by the right people, okay? And so when you start being in this situation, you have peer pressure, you have a mental social self-image, you have a self-image that is of someone who is winning, never quitting, and doing the things until it's done. So this is how you get through like tough things. Because during these tough things, it's like, it's just, for instance, when I was like struggling in Tate's house, I just did not have the options of stopping it. I could not just say like, oh, it's okay, guys, it's enough. It's like, I knew I was not in control. It's like, as long as they wanted, we'll do it. And so I was like, I just need to fucking swallow it and go through it, go through the fire. I can tell you, like, saying it's easy. Doing it is fucking hard. Because like, just, I don't know if it's your reptilian brain who's telling you, bro, get the fuck up. Like, get out of here. You're gonna die. It's like your reptilian brain is sending you messages, strong messages, like, you're gonna die here. Get the fuck out of here. So you have to rationalize this and say, no, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna stay just one more minute. Just, I remember there was in a movie, it was in Game of Thrones actually. So you can learn from anything. In Game of Thrones, have you watched the show?
Yes, I have.
I remember there was like this girl who became an assassin, Arya, I think. And she had a saying, and so after I turned it into a joke, but basically she was saying to the god of death, she was saying, not today, not today. And so it just a mindset of, if you want to quit, just not now. Wait for another like extra second, extra minute, depending on your situation. If you want to quit your business and just stop, just say not today. I'm just gonna do today, and maybe tomorrow I will quit. Okay. And it's just the spirit of saying, you know what, just not today. It's the same in marketing when you say, you know what, if you have a guarantee to your offer, don't say like, take a decision now, just say like, try it. For as long as the guarantee is, so for instance, if you have a 30 days guarantee, say, just try it for 30 days. And if like on 29 days, it's not what you wanted, just ask for a refund, okay? You don't have to decide now. Not today. And so that's something I've used for myself. I was like, not today. I'm just not gonna like give up. It works. So it depends. Yeah. You can get, as that's the thing, is like some people they just want inspiration from like serious books and whatever. I get inspiration from basically anything, like from film, movies, animes, friends, chit chat, random conversations. You can get inspiration from anyone.
Would it be fair to say, Yoaan, that putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, whether it be a fight camp for a grueling MMA fight, or doing a vigorous workout, that same mindset, you've actually applied that into business and have become incredibly successful. Would it be fair to say?
I guess like even if at some point there was like a fuck mindset, because especially when you start like business, everyone is going to talk about mindset, which is true because you need to reshape your belief system to believe that you can sell things, whatever. At some point, like some guys just go too far in mindset and they stop like implementing and actually doing the work that's going to get you the money. And but the thing is, I can ask you a question, and you will see if that's, for me, that's the definition of the power of mindset. If you could go back to when you were 15, so you go back in the body of your version of 15 years old, but you have all the knowledge and experience that you have now, would your life be different?
Yeah, I'd say it would.
Okay. Usually, everyone would say, of course. You know, it's like, for instance, like when you are 15 years old, you don't believe in yourself, you don't have self. So, for instance, with women, it's hard, okay, because you don't know how to talk, you don't know how to talk to them, you have no confidence. And usually when you see someone who's like, let's say 25, 30 and beyond, like you say, if I was putting like what you know now back in like your 15 years old version, would your life be different? And a lot of them say, yeah, bro, I would get any girls that I want, I would be this, I would be that. Okay, what changed? Only your mindset, bro. That's the only thing that changed. It's like your belief about yourself. And so that's why like the mindset is important. And so of course, when you've been through something difficult in business, in your relationship, in a fight, in whatever, it's like you can just use like, belief is belief, okay? You don't have to put a tag on it, like belief about fighting, belief about this. No, it's just like, if you become a person who is more confident, things are gonna start to unfold for you, okay? This is the reason why like almost all men, they want to go on like the self-improvement journey. They start by doing the easiest thing to be more confident, which is to get in shape. Because they have to believe, they've seen like so many people getting in shape just by working out. Like if I work out, I will get in shape. And if I have a great shape, I will be more confident. It's almost always the same process. Get in shape, then they start getting interested in girls or in business, depending on what's like what they want to achieve. But usually they had to go through this first transformation to get at least a bit of confidence. Because after you have like a loop in your brain, you're like, oh, wow, so actually when I want to do something, I really put my all in it. I put the energy, I put the discipline and everything, it works. And the thing is about money, especially like for beginners in business, I remember when I started, I saw making money online as if it was magical. You know, as if it was like a god of money, whatever, and it would be completely different of any other areas in my life, which doesn't make sense. That's the thing. That's the things that people need to understand. It's like everything is irrational. It's fear. Everything is most of the time irrational. So if you're worried to talk to that girl because she's beautiful, this is insane. Okay, she's not gonna kill you. You know it. But even if I tell you she's not gonna kill you, you're gonna start sweating. You're gonna be like feel not at ease and whatever. But if already you've been successful in business, you've been successful in the gym, maybe you had a fight, whatever. It doesn't mean you can have insane confidence with a woman, but at least like the self-image that you have of yourself, it's completely different. You're a man who can do things, and that other people like put value on him. So already like the way you walk, the way like you have like your posture and everything is going to be different. And because of this, you're going to attract more people to you. So your life is going to get easier for some reasons. And you can't explain it. Just it's energy. It's like, it's hard to explain. But so of course, like my experiences on like difficult situation in fighting and stuff like this, of course it helps for business. Of course, because some guys, they would just like, I know some guys that were doing the same business, they will not take the same amount of risk. They will not be that disciplined. They will not be that dedicated. All of these things is because I went through this in different areas of my life. And I was like, yeah, I can do it. I can do it. Of course I can do it. And so, yeah.
What are some of the daily rituals and habits that you've adopted over the years, Yoaan, to become obviously the man that you are today?
So in terms of routines, I have a lot of routines.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what I've realized is the best way, because sometimes when you get into self-development, you're going to watch a lot of videos, okay? And the guy is going to tell you wake up at 4, and the guy is going to tell you don't eat this, don't do this, do this, train twice a day, train. Bro, it's like journal. I remember. Oh yeah, I remember it was back when it really started, 2016, 2017. I read the famous book, The Miracle Morning. Bro, The Miracle Morning is like if you do everything, it takes you like 2 hours and a half. So you wake up at fucking 5:30 or 6, and like let's say at 6 and at 8:30, you finally finishes. But you feel you did a lot already. You know, it's like yeah, you used a lot of your willpower. That's a problem. And we were talking about this with Chase the other day. And the thing is, he wanted like to implement like some new routines. And I told him, what really matters for me is the sequence of my day. It's not routines. Sequence means that I'm gonna do things in an order. So that's not gonna require me to spend a lot of my willpower. I want, you know, it's like as if I have like the most expensive things I had in my pocket. I don't want to spend it. And my willpower is the thing I don't want to spend at all. And the thing is, if you start forcing you to do this and this and this and this and this just to be better and more efficient, bro, what's gonna happen is like by noon, you've exhausted all your willpower. And after doing all this stuff, maybe you're gonna just lay on the couch or be in front of your computer, not being efficient, and you don't know why, because you no longer have any willpower. So what I do when I wake up, I've been doing this for fucking 2017. That's the thing I haven't changed for like years. It's like I have a routine with some breathing exercises and some yoga exercises, okay, stretching. And that's one of the things never changed, never changed. And if I had to do nothing but this, it was this. Sometimes I have more routines, less routines. I kept this. These days I'm reconsidering and redoing some meditation, guided meditation. I've noticed is something that it makes a difference. It makes a difference in your way of reacting to things. You are more like at peace with yourself. You don't react emotionally too much to things happening to you. It has a direct impact on your business. Like it's so important. It helps you like take a step back and see what's really happening without getting too emotionally involved. All these things, it's super important. It's true. When you meet someone who is doing like at least 15 to 20 minutes a day, like meditation, you see a difference. Then the things that I want to do is like to read. But I don't want to do it right away, because in the morning I want to be doing deep work, okay? I want like no distractions. It depends on your business, okay? When I'm doing like marketing, that's the best part of marketing for me, is that during the entire morning, no one can disturb me, okay? So I'm gonna take coffee, smash coffee, be in front of my laptop, doing things with no distractions. And just with that, you get ahead of like so many people. Because a lot of people, they can't do anything without like the smartphone off, with no notification, whatever. My phone has no notification whatsoever. Only for like, you know, Uber or like a Globe or delivery. But I don't have any notifications because I don't want to split my attention. Again, it's like I have attention is super important, willpower is super important. And so I go through sequences like this during my day. And so it becomes normal, you know? And so now, like when I wake up doing my routine, it asks me zero willpower, because I know I'm feeling better by doing it. So if I don't do it, I feel like something is lacking. So I just can't do it. I cannot not do it. That's the thing. After the like a cold shower, I always do this. I don't even think. You know, I get in the shower, start putting like the cold shower. I don't even, or maybe one. No, like boom. It's every time it's like a bit of a shock. I do 2 minutes per day. I put the timer so I can't, you know, because sometimes if you don't put the timer, you're gonna be like, oh, I think it was enough. No, 2 minutes, easy, done. Then I do my meditation, get down, take coffees, and start working, and have already my goals written for today. So I know exactly what I'm gonna do, and I'm not gonna like just fuck around like doing some bullshit. I know exactly what's important. The most important task, boom, boom, boom. Eat, light work, go training if I train this day, do my 10K steps. Oh yeah, that's something I do every day, 10K steps. And it gives you time to learn, either like audiobook, it gives you time to call someone, gives you time to do things, okay? Because a lot of times I've realized I was just like in front of my laptop, entire day, you know, you're not moving, okay? And especially I remember during COVID, I was doing like a workout like without any material, just push-ups and shit like this. it will take me like 20 minutes. It means like, except the 20 minutes where I was active, like the entire day I was just in front of my laptop working. And so having like this 1 hour, 40 minutes walking for doing the 10K steps is gonna actually help you to move, to have ideas. That's the thing, you need to give some time for your brain to think. Like too many people, they no longer think, okay? It's crazy, you have a brain, use it. You know, so, and if I'm telling you this, I've done some mistakes so many times. Like you're so used to listening to something, talking to someone, watching a video. Like if you look at your day, like the entire time, like you're making your brain busy because you don't want him to think. Because when you think, it brings out your anxiety, it brings out your fears, brings up the thing you don't want to deal with. But if you push it back every time, you're not even gonna deal with it. You're just avoiding something. Okay, it's as if like there was a girl, like you were in a relationship, you keep like taking another road. No, you have to face it. At sometimes like you have to be at peace with yourself, with seeing her and not feeling anything and just being cool. You know, at first you block her, and then like 6 months later you can see her and nothing happens. But if you keep like avoiding her like your entire life, you cannot get over it. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's why like you have problems. That's why meditation is great, because it's gonna help you like make like a cleaning process in your thoughts, helping you to take the right decision and helping you to get rid of like all these fear or anxieties that you could have. And doing the 10K steps help me too. But yes, that's the main ones. After I have also ones with more like depending on my goals. But I would say like if I had one thing to say to someone is like when you wake up, like to make your body move, to do something with your body. And that's good, and to do 10K steps in training, I think it's like the most basic ones. And if you are an entrepreneur, or even not, I mean like writing your goals at night for the next day is gonna boost your productivity by like, I can say a random number, like 300%, but it's like, it's a game changer.
A great day starts with an evening routine and planning ahead the night before. Do you plan out your day? At night?
Yeah, it's what I was saying. Like, for instance, it's actually here. So I have a book like this, and so as you can see, I can open like basically any day. I'm writing like, let me give you one that looks like something. Like for instance, I have like here, I have like the dates, and I have like my goals, and you can see after I cross them, and by crossing them when I do them, it gives you like a dopamine hit, or I'm going toward my destination. Okay, makes you feel like, oh, something is happening, you know. Because if you don't do this, you're not gonna be that efficient. You know, I know like today I have to do this, and you know when you are feeling a bit tired, sometimes you don't really want to do it. You're like, yeah, but today I said I would do this thing. Okay, I'm doing it. Okay, it's gonna take me like 10 minutes. You know, okay, let's do it. Just not to, don't procrastinate. Not today. Just do it. And so at night, that's the last thing I'm doing before like watching something, talking with a friend, whatever. I do this, and I feel like my day is over. When I've done this, my day is over. And after I do whatever I want.
Yeah. What would be some advice that you would recommend for aspiring entrepreneurs that are starting a business and are in a little bit of a situation where they're stuck? What would some advice be?
Is they are stuck. So the first thing is they need to understand, like, because it's something that I've learned in sales. If someone tells you like I'm stuck, you need to clarify first. Okay. So what do you mean by stuck? Okay. Is they gonna give you, oh, I'm stuck because I'm making like $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
But I want to 10K.
They're not getting a return on investment.
Exactly. And so you're like, okay, so clarify again. You're like, okay, so you're making 2K. What do you sell? Okay, I'm selling a coaching for $1,000. Okay, so do you mean you are getting like 2 clients a month? Yes, exactly. Okay, so to get to 10K, do you need like to get 10 clients? Can you handle 10 clients? Yes or no? Oh, 10 clients would be a lot. Okay, so maybe like to get to 10K, maybe increasing your price could be a good idea. Okay. Oh yeah, but I don't know. Okay, mindset issue. Okay, he doesn't believe he's worth like a 2K coaching instead of a 1K coaching. Okay. If the guy has been having results for his clients, You can sell for 2K coaching, people will still be happy. You can sell for fucking $20,000, but it's gonna take you like few steps of mindset to be ready to sell for $20,000. So you get to this point, you're like, okay, so you're selling, like you're having 2 clients, you want to go to 10K. What you can do, the first thing is increase your price, go to 2.5K. With 2 clients, you get to 5K per month. Already you can live with this. Okay, it's no longer something like you survive half doing things. So that's the thing. In order to do this move, most of the time you need some type of mentor, someone you trust to give you this advice so you can trust the process of doing it. Because a lot of people, if I tell you this like on this podcast, I tell you, okay, you have a $1,000 coaching, go to 2.5. You're going to have a lot of fears and insecurities coming up. I don't know if I'm worth it. I know it's expensive. They're going to say no. Yeah, but all those things are happening in your mind because of your belief system. And you have to understand that if you are selling for $1,000, it's more than selling for $250. Why do you feel confident selling for $1,000 and not for $250? Oh, because $1,000 is, I'm still selling something great. Okay, so that's the same for 2.5K. And some people they have way more money than you could ever imagine. So they don't care about the money. That's the thing. So after that you've clarified, okay, maybe you can increase a bit your price. That could be one thing. Then like, do you have enough traffic? Okay. Oh yeah, I have plenty of people DMing me. Okay, so what happens between people that are interested in what you have to offer, like your content, whatever, and to get to actually giving you money? What's the process? Try to remove everything that could like stop people from giving you money. Okay, and the process is pretty easy. It's like you just need to have first you need to have people to know that you have something to sell. Okay, a lot of people will be surprised that they never knew you had something to sell. Okay, they were following you because I don't know, for instance, like you have a podcast, you're talking about interesting things, and they're like, oh, I love like listening to this podcast, the Unleashed podcast, and they never knew like you had something to sell. How could they give you money in that case? They can't. If you're only waiting for guys that say, oh, hey bro, by the way, is there any way that we can work together or something like this? It's gonna be one person out of like 1,000. Okay, so you are leaving a lot of money on the table. So you need to have a process. How do you get like people knowing what you have to offer, how it could help them more than you? Okay, so that's something important. It's what's in it for me. It's like what's in it for like the person that you're gonna sell to. And then like having a simple process. Like one of the biggest mistakes you can do when you're starting is to overcomplicate things with software. No, like you get to like $5,000-$10,000 per month. It can be extremely easy. Having something to interest and attract people, to give their attention, okay, to help them. Now they want, like it's so simple. It's like when someone is helping you, you want to talk with this person. Just because we are human beings. Okay, go back, don't overcomplicate things with like it's marketing, it's sales. No, it's like we are human beings, and when someone is helping you, you want to spend time with this person. It's normal, because you're just human. Okay, so you're gonna start having conversation, and if they already know you have something to sell, they might be okay. So like you give me advices on this, I don't know, post on Instagram, a YouTube video. It's like, is there any way you can really like help me like more to achieve, like, I don't know if they want to lose weight, like, because to be honest, I've been struggling for 10 years to get rid of my belly, and I was never able to do it with like the YouTube Academy. Like just watching random YouTube videos was not enough for me. Okay, we can talk about this, or you can just chat and say, okay, so clarify the situation, what's their pain, where they want to go, what's the gap between both situations, sell it. Is selling is just like saying, my situation is going to help you to get to here, which is where you want to be. You don't want to be here anymore. I'm going to help you closing the gap. Okay, and just by doing like simple steps like this, having a clear funnel, simple strategy, you can make way more. But the thing is, like most of the time, people want like fancy strategies because they want to avoid doing the work that actually matters. They want to do the things that look cool. Oh, this new like things, this new software, this new. No, like bro, it's like you need to go back to just human nature and actually being just natural and normal. If someone is in pain, he wants a solution to get rid of that pain. Can you offer a solution to get rid of that pain? Yes or no? Yes? Okay, offer it. It's like a lot of people, they have the fear of rejection so high because the fear of rejection is linked to the fear of death. So it's so high, so they're like, oh no, but if I offer this and they say no, I feel like dying inside. I feel like I'm worthless. Don't believe this. This is a wrong. It's just fear. It's irrational fear. If you don't believe this and you are able like to offer you things, and if they say no, all right, it's like no one is gonna die. Everything is okay, and maybe it's just they will come back. Like yesterday, I had a guy who wanted to work with me, and but like 8 months ago, he said no, and now he was like, how can I send you money? The only thing is like now I don't want to work with him. But the thing is like 8 months ago, so if I believe 8 months ago that I was worthless because this guy was saying like whatever, like no, I don't want to work with you. It's like the person is rejecting your proposition. Maybe because just they don't believe in you in themselves. They are not rejecting you. And that's the problem with people selling coaching services or just a product. They see like when someone is rejected, they're not rejecting you, they're rejecting like your offer. Okay? With a better offer, with more information, maybe they would say yes. With another price, maybe they would say yes. With a guarantee, maybe they would say yes. But they are not rejecting you, and you have to dissociate exactly like your person and your offer. Because if you don't do this, every time like it's gonna hate you. Every time it says no to you, it's like it's gonna hate you. Okay, and that's the same with girls. Like if you go and see a girl and you say, hey, I want to have a drink with you, whatever, or whatever you have to offer to her. She says no. I have a boyfriend, even if she doesn't have one. It's like, what is she rejecting? She rejecting the offer you just made. She doesn't know you. Okay, she's not rejecting you like your entire person, your entire life, and no, it's not true. So that's why, like for instance, like. If when you were a kid you ask a girl out, she said no, and years later now she wants to be with you, and maybe you're no longer interested. Why? Because the offer you brought in the market to her at that time was not interesting enough.
That's a really good analogy.
Yeah, now it's interesting. Now she wants to. And I remember telling this to the guys like in the community. I was like, because I had this girl that when I was 16, I think, in high school, 15, 16. I was madly in love with this girl, like first love, whatever, and I really wanted her. I did everything I could to get her. She rejected me. Okay, at that time it was hard. I was like so disappointed and everything, like sad. And years later, after she wanted to see me, to have a drink, to go climbing, to do so many things, I could see she was interested. I was not, because now my perceived value in my mind, I was like, I can get like this type of woman exactly as I want. She's not this type of woman. I'm losing in this. That's the idea. I'm losing. He's winning. She's winning more than I'm winning. Okay, so no, it's not fair now. When before she would be losing if we got together when I was 15. Now she's like, oh fuck, now I want like Yoaan, but it's a 27 years old version of Yoaan. Yeah, but it's two different person, And that's the same when you're doing business. Guys starting a business, maybe it's the first week, everyone is going to say no to you. 2 years later, you're successful, everyone wants to work with you. What changed? You're still the same person. Yeah, but your offer is different.
That's, well put, Yoaan. Wow. And what a great analogy that you just used. And it's interesting, some of the most successful entrepreneurs or people that have dived into, building up their business, it's a very slow grind. You're going to hit a plateau. You're going to hit barriers. It's work, no results. Work, no results. Work, no results. And then boom, overnight success. And it's just that perseverance and that tenacity, isn't it? And what are you currently working on at the moment, Yoaan? You just got back from Bali with Jay, and looking ahead, what are some of the biggest aspirations and entrepreneurial endeavors that you've got planned ahead?
So that's interesting because actually an exercise that I would encourage like a lot of people to do. It's about like what are the experiences you want to live in your life, what are the areas of growth you want to have in your life, and how you're gonna contribute to other people in your life. It could be business, it could be donation, it could be charity, it could be so many things. It doesn't matter. Giving your time, helping people. And so basically you take a piece of paper and you draw like two lines, so you have three categories like this. So you have experiences, you have growth, and you have contribution. So I was doing this thing, and actually in business, I just want to, right now, I just want to increase my skills in marketing, because I realized something is like, I've been working on my sales skills quite a lot. And I got pretty good. But the thing is, I listened to a podcast from a marketing guy, and I remember it was like a 3 hours podcast, something like this. And at any time I got bored, and I was like, yeah, but maybe just because he's so interesting, okay? So I asked also people like, oh, like this podcast is interesting, whatever. And so after like 2 minutes, they were like, no, it's not. And I was like, oh, it's interesting. So it means like for other people, this type of content is not interesting, but for me, it's extremely interesting. And I would not listen to a podcast about sales for 3 hours. So what does it mean? I need to go back to more marketing, because that's the things that's really driving me. That's making me feel like I'm not working. And so right now I'm just working on my skills on this, like to get better and better at it. And I love the idea to just make more money while sleeping. It's just fucking awesome. So I'm getting back a lot about like funnels, getting better at psychology, marketing, understanding really how the brain works, and all this stuff is like, it's quite it can become a passion. I don't have exactly like a goal about like how much money I'm gonna make or shit like this, because I've realized, for instance, the only time I wanted like 100K per month, whatever. So the thing is, I just implemented because I was like 200K, depending on the return on investment from the ad spend, and it's this type of things, blah blah blah. But I was like, after I crossed this threshold of doing 100K and I made more, and I was like, yeah, but I didn't plan to make more. So I was like, I had the goal one time to make 10K. I had a goal one time to make 100K. So I guess it definitely helps, but it's not something that's really driving you so much where it gets to a point for me, because I'm like, it's not, when it's no longer changing your life and like how you live your life, it's not really something that's gonna like wake me up in the morning, like give me energy or whatever. So it's more about what type of experience I want to do, with whom I want to do them, what type of skills I want to do. And it was really the idea of, if you can find it in your life, like the one skill or the one area that you want to develop and to become like world class, that's awesome, And so for me, I was not sure about it, but here I'm getting more and more sure about, it's about getting insanely good at marketing. It's something that's just like doesn't make me feel working, so it's awesome. For you, I don't know exactly what it is, James.
For me, what drives me? Yeah, 100%. I think learning and growing and progression, and it's interesting listening to you talking about your fight camp. The price of progress is pain, and I'm a big believer in voluntary adversity, whether it be doing the ice bath or a grueling exercise routine. I honestly think that, with the way we are and the way we're biologically wired, we're designed to do difficult things and overcome adversity. And that's what I mean. It's just remarkable, obviously, what you've achieved and what you and Jay and Adam are doing in the Fast Lane community. And, you guys just have such a wealth of knowledge, and you have so much value to give so many people. And I just am super excited to see where you guys are going to be in the next 5 years. It's really exciting. And have you done many podcasts? How do you find the whole podcasting thing?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's like having a chat. It's really fun. The thing is, like, we were talking about Luke. Luke had like a podcast studio built like not really like less than a kilometer away. And so at some point I was doing a lot of podcasts in this podcast studio, but after like basically this guy who owns a restaurant under it tried to get like insurance, how do you call this, fraud, insurance fraud. So he basically like burned his whole restaurant. But the issue is like when you burn the restaurant, it is a podcast you above it. What happens is like the entire building went in fire. And so because it's just like the podcast you was inactive for the last 8 months. But yeah, I like the experience, like having a chat. I always learn new things, and trying to be interesting.
Yeah, and you are, mate. You're an interesting, very interesting person to talk to, and it honestly, man, it's just been an absolute pleasure sitting down with you for the last hour and a half, and
Sure.
yeah, I look forward to obviously connecting with you in the future. But Yoaan, thank you so much for jumping on, man.
Thank you, bro. It was a great podcast.
Thanks, Yoaan. Bye.
Take care.